Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. Did you know that 333 years ago today, the Salem witch trials began? That's right. What I want to do today is a little bit different. I'm going to do kind of like a news breakdown, rundown, because a bunch of stuff reset. So it's like a this week, today in Marvel Future Fight or something like that, okay? Starting with story mode really quickly. I already blasted this on for the subs on YouTube, like the paid subs and the paid subs on Patreon. But basically, I think this is the best team for story mode. Jubilee on one side, Lincoln Campbell on the other, and Ghost Rider in the middle. I will offer no further explanation. I'm trying to go fast here, but that is the team. It does depend on your build for Morgan Le Fay. Pay attention to Morgan Le Fay on 13.3, and also pay attention to your build for White Fox on 11.1. And I guess run those stages and see if they can actually do it solo. Otherwise, you may have to put together two teams. Jubilee is only actually needed on the team if you are running the story mode Dimensional Clash. If you're not running Dimensional Clash, you can skip Jubilee and replace her with somebody else. But yeah, that's story mode. Then we had Zombie Survival Reset. Now, I haven't actually gotten in a good run. I've just done my runs of Stage 1. I highly recommend you do your Stage 1 runs so you can get all of your challenge rewards out of the way. And then, quick reminder as well, buy out the store for the Tier 4 materials, guys. Okay? Anybody that's not doing this and then complaining they don't have enough Tier 4 materials to Tier 4 character, you're breaking my heart here. You're breaking my heart, okay? Especially if you don't have a lot of zombie tokens, just buy the Soul of the Faltine. If you can only afford one thing, just buy the Soul of the Faltine. Then next week, if you can afford two things, get the Soul of the Faltine and probably the Carbonadium, maybe the Life Seed. The only reason why I don't recommend the Life Seed is because you get less. You get 1/3 less, right? You only get 200 instead of 300. But maybe you're desperate. I don't know what your drop situation is like. And then just keep doing that, and then eventually you'll have a big surplus, more than me. And then from that point on, you can be buying both of them or maybe even all three of them every single week, okay? As far as a team for actually running it, this week they've locked Skill 2, Skill 5, and Skill 6. That's pretty tough. It actually screws up a lot of characters, but I would say run a Doctor Strange team. Just give it a try. I know Doctor Strange's 5th skill is really potent, but he still has access to the 3 and the 4, which honestly, he cooks really hard on the 3 and the 4. I don't think Doctor Strange is the best, by the way. I'm not saying he's the best for this week, but I'm just saying if you've been doing a lot of zombie survival with Doctor Strange, then it's familiar to you. I would say give it a shot. However, I do think some of the better teams this week are going to center around Ghost Rider, potentially, just because although he loses his Tier 3 skill, which does do a lot of damage, his 5th skill is not that great, so you don't lose too much from losing the 5. And then, of course, you still have his bread and butter, which is his 4th skill, where he just, obliterates with the iframe ignore. So I think Ghost Rider is not a bad pick there. I also think that you can make do with, what's his name? I'm blanking now. Null. Again, it depends on your build. It also depends on how high you're trying to go. But Null is still pretty good here because you still get to tap that 7th skill. Tap that. And it does a lot of damage, right? Null's 6th skill kind of sucks anyway, so you don't really have to worry about the 6. The 5, it does suck to lose because you lose the V-pad, but you still have 1 and 3 and 4 to do some pretty decent damage, and then you'd still have 7, and you obviously want to save 7 for the spawn, the boss spawn, to burst out that damage there. You could also try, I feel like you could try someone like Jean. I don't think Jean is the very best option because you're losing 6, which is a big damage boost for her, but you still have 3 and 4, which are decent, and then you still have 7, which she charges up still pretty fast, and it gives her the accumulation, so you still have that. But yeah, I think at that point you're kind of struggling. Maybe like a Jean Ghost Rider hybrid, and you're just building a bunch of fire damage supports rather than like a strictly villain or strictly hero. But yeah, I would try some different things and see here. I don't think any recent Tier 4s or any recent additions really have impacted this game mode too much. It's really been dominated largely by characters that were already meta or just became meta when this game mode came out. So obviously Doctor Strange, zombie on zombie, right? It makes sense, right? Zombie squared. Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, Jean, Null, Venom, these kinds of characters. Thor. Thor this time is going to struggle a lot because 5 and 6, right? 5 gives him the accumulation, which is humongous, and then 6 is big damage. So I would say stay away from Thor for this week. He's going to struggle there. I think you could even try Nah, you probably couldn't try Luna. Eh? Losing 5 and 6 is not really gonna work for Luna. Plus, I don't think you have access to White Fox. I think because you lose the White Fox's agility, so I don't think you can use White Fox at all. Yeah, no, I think in general, yeah, you're not gonna have a good time there. So I would skip Luna altogether. But yeah, otherwise, that's my suggestion. I'll probably try to get a run in and see how 60 goes with this team here, and then go from there. But yeah, just remember, you know, 3 supports minimum, and just do your thing. And then I know another thing reset. So this is why I wanted to make this video, right? Because so many things reset, so many things are kind of lining up. This doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, it's pretty cool. We also had Otherworld Battle resetting at the same time. So Otherworld Battle reset. This one's pretty interesting because it sometimes gives you a glimpse into what the next update could look like. So if we take a look here at the new buffs, these are 28-day buffs, battlefield effects I'm talking about, not the Otherworld battle buffs that you can purchase for tokens. We'll talk about that in just a second here. But we have speed characters damage increased, heroes damage dealt increased. So you get to double dip on speed heroes. Obviously, that's a big booty clap for Spider-Man, for Black Widow, etc. And then super villains take more damage. They take 500% increased damage. So quite spicy there. Very, very skewed towards what I think is the weakest class in PvP. It's either speed heroes or blast, right? Blast types in general are probably the weakest for PvP, but speed heroes are probably, or just speed types in general, are probably the second weakest class. It probably goes like universal first, combat second, and then blast third, and speed fourth, with obviously just like a huge gap between first and second. Like universals are just like way up there, and then there's a big gap, and then combat, blast, speed. But that being said, it should be interesting after this first week. Obviously, with this first week, with there being no debuffed characters, you don't really have to pay attention to the restrictions at all. You can get creative now, you can test out teams now, but unfortunately, you're just going to get curb stomped by the incumbent meta. The Sentry, Null, Wolverine, Adam Warlock, Giga combo, literally every team. I would be shocked if I found a team here that's not running almost that exact combo, or maybe you can see them substitute out one for a support. And it's interesting. That's actually very interesting. Faber's not using Null. Wow, because he's a villain. That's very interesting. Maybe that works for Faber. Congratulations to him. But wow, that's more than I expected, honestly. I expected to see one dissimilar team, and I've already found 2 unique teams. So I'm actually pretty surprised. And it's interesting to see that the teams that you see that don't have Adam, right? When they substitute one character for the additional symbiote support, who do they substitute? Adam. That gives you a bit of insight, at least in this game mode, not necessarily in all game modes, right? PvP-wise, but it gives you a bit of insight into who could be the weakest of this meta, right? If we know that Null would be substituted out in Faber's team and others because he's a villain, right? So he's not benefiting from that. And then, of course, Deadpool being a hero and a speed type is going to double dip. So that's a huge swing, right? You go from taking 500% increased damage with Null to dealing 500% increased damage with Deadpool. So that's actually very good. I actually might investigate that for myself or swap out Adam for Deadpool on my team. But it's interesting to see that when one of them gets subbed out, it is Adam, right? In both cases. Now, again, that could be kind of groupthink. It could be like, oh, somebody saw Faber doing it, so now they're going to copy him. Maybe Adam is not the worst one to sub out, but maybe he is. He does benefit from the hero one, but so does Sentry, so does Wolverine. So, yeah. After this week is done, because I obviously can't speak to it right now, but once we get down to the ban list, once the juicy ban list comes through and everybody gets banned, everybody that we're using right now gets banned, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. We're going to see some very cool teams, I think. I think we're going to see some very cool teams. I think for sure we're going to see Angel, just because at that point, Wasp is not going to provide enough, unless you have like a brilliant insight on her. I think you're absolutely going to see this happening with Spider-Man's newest uniform, turning him into a symbiote. I think you're definitely going to see this one, and you're going to probably see this one with this one. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a possibility. And then because he probably won't be banned the first week, I think a lot of people are going to run Carnage just because he's going to obviously benefit from Agent Venom, which is humongous as a symbiote, but he's going to have type advantage versus the speed types. So I think this is going to be a pretty interesting team. Maybe substitute Angel for Invisible Woman tier 4 because she could do a little bit more damage against Carnage, or maybe even people going back to Wasp because, you know, why not? It's still just 10% more HP anyways. But I do think this team is going to get a bit of work. And then once, like, Spider-Man gets banned, then you're actually going to see some really... Because, again, the week after that, Spider-Man and Carnage almost definitely getting banned. So then you, for the third week, again, this is, like, super speculation here, but you're going to see Quicksilver, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. You're going to see Quicksilver. And you know who you could start to see as well? You could start to see a little bit of Echo. I don't know. It depends really how bad the bans go, or how deep they go. But you could see Echo. You could see Spider-Gwen, right? You could see just Colossus coming in just to provide some extra defensive support because speed types are so weak. Obviously, you're going to see Deadpool, right? If Deadpool's not banned after the second week, obviously Deadpool. You could even see the Warriors of the Sky because they get half of that buff, right? They get the 250, and half of the team is speed now. So you could even see something like this because if Deadpool doesn't really need the cleanse, you could see something like this. Probably way more out there in terms of quality and in terms of possibility, just because Sunbird is so weak and he sandbags the team so much. But on the other hand, you know, Blue Dragon benefits from half of the buffs, and then you have Shadow Shell benefiting from both buffs to double dip. And then you'd either bring in a 5th support, or you would bring in another damage dealer or something like that in case you need it, or like if you needed the cleanse, whatever, you would bring the cleanse. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think this is a pretty good series of buffs. Honestly, I think they should add an extra battlefield effect. I think having 4 battlefield effects would be even better, because once you get into the third week especially, it just creates so many cool teams and so much variety. It's actually really nice. As for the battlefield effect buffs that you can buy for this season, I think that Luck and the buff effect increase are 2 that are kind of like no-brainers. They're just really good because they're active all the time, and even when they get removed with a debuff cleanse, they get added back after 3 seconds. So it's very, very good. No cooldown, just a flat effect that you just applies. Obviously, I think the HP increase is decent as well, depending on your team, depending on your cards. Going to be a little bit harder to leverage if you have a full speed team because they have low HP, base HP. But for now, it would be nice on like a Sentry or a Null or a Wolverine, and possibly later on Deadpool, Carnage, maybe even if you see some Hulks running around there and that sort of thing. Ignore damage can be good because it provides that buff, but it is a low duration with only 3 seconds, so you do have to pay attention to that. Skill cooldown is not bad. It's better once we get some other buffs, if we do get a cleanse buff. So there's no cleanse buffs right now. Otherwise, I would recommend picking up a cleanse buff. The one that has, it has the same icon as the ignore damage buff, and it basically has a chance when you're attacking to strip the debuff effect from your enemy. That one you put that buff that strips the debuff. You put that buff at the beginning of your team on like the 1st or 2nd character, and then you put this on like the 4th or 5th character, and then you can apply that debuff to really screw with your enemies if you get things to work out in your favor. Other than that, though, I'm not really excited. Obviously, I think Provoke and Natural Enemies are pretty bad. I think the Resistance is pretty bad. So I think I'm honestly going to wait. I'm going to pick up this one, and I'm going to pick up the Luck one, and I'm going to pick up the HP one. The reason why you do want to pick up some, at least, is because of the quests that I'm doing right now. Just a quick reminder, guys, even if you are pretty low on mementos, you should always save enough mementos to get 5 buffs per season. So every 60 days, just make sure you bank at least 2,000 tokens so that you can buy 5 of these buffs because of the battle pass, the one-time battle pass rewards where you get an extra 1,000 Rune of the Unknown. This is humongous. Yeah, this is humongous for upgrading your swords. That's 630. So I just did 3 buffs for 1,200 tokens, which gave me 630 runes. That's enough to craft 50 swords because it's 63 runes. Oh no, not 50 swords, 10 swords, sorry. 10 swords. 50 swords would be crazy because it's 63 runes of the unknown to craft 1 sword from 0 to +6. So you can craft 10 swords for free. Boom, just like that. So the full quest, because there's 2 more that I haven't done yet, the full quest gives you almost enough runes to craft 20 swords, just like that. Boom. And again, that's really good if you're crafting swords trying to get to +6, or it's good if you're just crafting the boost swords randomly just to get rerolls for your swords if you're trying to improve them, or if you're chucking those swords at your agent level to level that up. So that's the catch up here in Marvel Future Fight, or the catch up as they say. A couple more days and we'll have Nick Fury and hopefully something else, fingers crossed, but at least Nick Fury. I've seen a lot of people as well, not a lot of people, I saw one guy on YouTube being like, Alex, there's no way they're dropping sneak peeks for the next update after Nick Fury. We're definitely going to wait 2 weeks after Nick Fury. It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. I don't speak with absolute certainty. I try to never do that. But I feel like they have done that before. And I just hope they do it again, because the game is so slow right now and giga boring, and I just want to have fun, man. The anniversary cannot come quick enough, and I know I said that last year, and I probably said that the year before, but that shit cannot come quick enough. So smash the like button if you don't think the anniversary can come quick enough. Smash the dislike button if you think you could wait another year for the Annie. For the 10-year Annie, by the way. It's going to pop, hopefully. Anyways, hit me up in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.